Welcome everyone to VR Jungle, a Havoc podcast. Today we do not have a guest. They were sadly stuck in traffic or something was going on. It was this guy up top, Mr. Ruckup. But you know what? We'll have him on soon. I've already had him on, but he's just a enjoyable, lovable person to have on that we're going to associate with and talk about all the fun things he's gotten on. Especially with, as the reason why his name is up there is because he is working some formality of sponsorship between Havoc and maybe this podcast and all the things. I like his product, and that's why. And then, as always, we have getting veteran in there, Mr. Olen, as the co-host of VR Jungle Havoc podcast over there. How you doing this week?
Oh, good. It feels like Monday for sure.
Yeah.
There's so much going on today, but yeah, doing good. Doing good over here. Got some exciting stuff in the works. So yeah.
Got it. I know. I hate that you had it. You should have showed me after, because now I have all this stuff I want to talk about where I'm just like, I can't do it. You told me I can't do it. Now I'm just like, oh, you can't do that to me.
Very soon. Very soon.
Yeah, I know. I'm very excited for it. But other than that, you just gun stock making away. And all that fun stuff, and I do want to segue into that with the troubles that about the new headsets coming out. You know, so far we have the Cambria that is coming out. Did they finally release that the actual day after it got kind of video came out about someone showing it and not supposed to? I think it's coming out Q1 of next year.
Yeah, and they leaked it supposedly, like somebody just like with GTA, all these random leaks coming out.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot about that today. Is the GTA leaks about GTA 6 coming out, and pretty much Rockstar's not having any no say on what's going on.
Yeah, it's crazy, and that you can tell it's like it seemed, I should say, at least it seems like a legit leak because you can see all like the developer tools and all the commands on screen and everything. And it's still not super buggy, but it's quite buggy from certain sections.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really play GTA much. I only played like the campaign, and I'm not a huge fan of like the kind of open world type stuff for the most part. So
what?
I was just kind of like,
you don't what? Not even open world VR. You ever play Zenith?
Not really. No, it looks exhausting.
It is. Oh man, I played 60 hours straight of Zenith, and I thought my shoulders were gonna fall off.
Dude, I watched the only parts I've seen is a little bit of Sumachi and then Short Stack playing.
Oh,
I'm watching Short Stack do this 8,000 times. So I'm just like, no, it's not. That's not it. I feel like if they did like a Blade and Sorcery type thing with like a Skyrim type of story, like quality wise, those two things put together, you might have something really interesting. But even for myself, I got ADD or something because I can't pay attention to lore too much. Sometimes if it's really, really, really good,
mm-hmm.
I'll pay attention. But for the most part, I just press that skip button every time and try to get right to the gameplay of it. But that's just me though.
Yeah, I get it. So I know that since you are making the gun stock, that you predominantly play the first person shooter type of play style. But so with the new headset of Oculus coming out, and they still plan on releasing other ones, how much different is the controller? Do you know that they're switching? Are they still going with the same ring base, or are they changing the shape? Or will you even have to worry about it as a gunstock person from what your original design was that goes into the Oculus controller itself as a ring? Do you think with that headset that you would even have to even make it? Do you think people are going to use it for a gaming headset?
I don't see that being likely. I mean, there's going to be a few people that will have it. And it sounds like the price point's going to be right on par with like the Index, from what I understand. But it'll have far more features.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be pricey, and so there's not a massive priority. Obviously, I need to get it. Sadly, I have to get that headset, but
sadly.
But yeah, I've already looked at the when that first leak came out when I forgot his name, that one guy. He's got like the brown hair. He kind of looks like a beetle. He's like very skinny.
Oh
He does
yeah.
all the leak stuff. He
Uh-huh.
used to do it for the Deckard a lot. He did one for the Cambria. I've been watching it ever since, and that layout never changed. It's essentially the Quest 2 controller with the ring removed. That's it. And then like maybe a little curve on like the
Oh yeah,
outer
that's
edge,
right.
like
They took the
around
ring
there.
away.
Yeah, so the ring's gone, and then there's a charging port on the side. And so, yeah, it definitely looks. I 100% can't do the same design concept. And I've been looking at maybe doing like a sliding mechanism thing where it'll be able to lock in place if you just slide it from the top. But you still have that like with the index mouse, you
So,
have the
question with this, and it might be an issue for you that you're gonna have to think about. If this is compatible for Oculus features and mechanics, what's stopping them from letting us use this new controller? Obviously, if it's got no rings. Do you not think the sensors would be a little bit better to
they'll probably.
use?
I would imagine the sensors on the Cambria are going to be an upgraded like version. Like you have the 2.0 and 1.0 base stations, so there'll probably be like a 2.0 or even a 3.0 version of
Mm-hmm.
the Quest 2 tracking. Plus, from what I understand, they have like body tracking. So, um, I mean, I don't see them wanting to do that for the most part because they'll want you to buy more, essentially. So maybe if you can get your hands on a headset, you don't have to buy the controllers. That's usually like the model bigger companies go for is like, no, we want you to buy all of it in our ecosystem and just get the newest
Yeah.
thing. I don't see it likely, but I mean, could be wrong.
Yeah, and then like talking about headsets and the kind of the wonky controllers that they're gonna make. Just thinking about the new Pico Neo 3 that's coming out, which for some reason I never even remember there being a one or two. I just think people keep on calling this just a Pico Neo, and then when I'm reading about news, I keep on like seeing three, and I'm just like, why do I not remember a one or two at all?
Yeah, I know. I
Like,
think it was because it was primarily in China, so like you didn't really hear much about it, from what I understand.
yeah, and so I saw those. They're almost like the Oculus. It's going to be pretty much damn near to a T the Oculus. The only thing different is that instead of having a circular shape, I've noticed that it was kind of oval. It was like had
The
like a
ring, right?
piece and then it had like it cut off, so it was almost like this.
Yeah, and the ring is like a separate shape. It's like a horseshoe almost, but a
Yeah,
closed
there you go.
horseshoe.
Yeah.
And then it's not doesn't form perfectly like how the Quest 2 controllers, in my opinion, are just like my favorite. They just feel so good, and like especially in shooters, that's just my preference. They just feel solid, even though the angle is weird. How they like how it translates to all the games, they just feel the best, and so I feel like they're gonna be hard to compete with. Like the that's another thing with the PSVR 2 controllers.
Yeah,
They
that's
sound
good to know.
freaking dope. They
Yeah,
sound amazing with the haptics and everything, and the dual sense triggers. But yeah, that shape is weird to where we're just gonna have to do some sort of like clamp to magnet, which I've always wanted to avoid using screws and everything else just for simplicity.
yeah.
But it's going to be inevitable that we're just going to have to switch that up.
Yeah, like just and so these are all coming out pretty soon. And the thing that I don't understand is that usually these people want to try and release stuff before Christmas, But I've noticed VR's never really gone for that model, just because I don't think they're driven. People that they go for are typically children, especially with the Cambria. With PSVR, might be on the spectrum of that, but they're kind of pricey.
Yeah.
Unlike the Oculus, that could, they reformatted their whole entire look and feel of the box to just be meta. Instead of the Oculus, which for some reason boosted sales as well because they're like, oh, look, it's a new product. And then all they did was instead of having the two different gigs, they just made the two and said, hey, let's go ahead and meet in the middle with the gigs, call it a new headset, and let's sell it for $100 between the difference of the two.
Yeah. From a business standpoint, it kind of makes sense because they want you to buy more games. And with like the lower cost, lower memory headset, you're gonna think twice before buying another game because you're like, oh, I already have. You can only have like 4 or 5 games on the 64 gig, depending on which games you have.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
yeah, now you got to double, and so now you'll spend more in the marketplace too. But and if you have the money to buy the more expensive headset, you have the money to buy more games more than likely, unless you're
Exactly.
just yeah.
And that's why when I originally got the Quest, I got the 256 gig. I think is that what it was? Is it or is it
Two,
one?
yeah, 128 is the I bought it. What's
That's
weird too is I bought a new headset like the Quest 2 off Amazon just for the Veil event. So I have a fresh headset. It doesn't have all my sweat and germs on it.
yeah.
And now it has the Meta logo on the front instead of the Oculus
Oh,
logo and on the
really?
controllers.
Dang.
And I was just this sucks.
Just
Like at least I have an original like
just
but yeah.
didn't look clean,
No.
because the Oculus symbol was so much better than the Meta symbol. It's just not.
And it's the thoughts behind Mark Zuckerberg and who he is. Like, yes, you're
Yeah.
bringing a lot of VR. I appreciate that, but at the same time, you're just as you're that guy. So
Yeah, and and it really stinks that he like obviously he has good ideas, but he also has had a lot of bad ideas. It's why his investors are not really liking the things that are going on because he's actually losing money, with their XR division and all that. And I think a lot of people, as much as the Cambria is going to help certain people in their day to day jobs, just like we talked about in the last episode, it's going to help people learn stuff without using resources like welding. It'll get people in a really say bomb detection. Go teach people how to take out a heart for goodness sakes. But it's like obviously it's meant for that. But if you look at the community that is built up in VR right now, like any other type of game, I would say what 99.9% enough to kill a germ are playing video games on this thing. Don't really care about taking out hearts and welding. So
yeah, but that gets me thinking with the newer headsets they're trying to model. Maybe Meta is trying to work on working with the government, getting government contracts because that's where all the
yeah.
money's at, and so that'll help with their funding and that yeah, I mean that's a possibility too. Like it is what do you call it, a subsidy? Where like yeah, we can put
Hmm.
our headsets for every student in this school, and the government will pay us directly, guaranteed income. Boom, now we can put that. Yeah, because like even with the whole Cambria thing, when you look at it, it doesn't look like it's playable because you have all that open space around it.
Yeah.
And then yeah, it's like all mainly XR, and then they've showed. I've seen a TikTok where a guy has the Windows mixed reality headset built into the helmet, and then he shows you a demonstration like on camera how he's like, yeah, here's a chopper plane that I work on, or whatever chopper plane, whatever you call it, the fighter chopper. And
Hmm.
he puts on the glass in front of his camera, and you can see literally all the internal wiring. He's like, this helps us with finding fixes immediately and knowing where exactly to go. And it's just simply flipping down the glasses real quick. And like I could see them working with
What?
military too. Yeah, it's crazy. They have that same application for building planning, so they have electrical guys come in because they make an entire 3D render of the entire building, like a 20-story building, high rise, whatever.
Hmm.
And then they have another guy walking through with the Windows glass, and then they can see all where the wiring's supposed to be, so they can plan it out for you,
Yeah.
and you'll know exactly where stuff needs to be, and there's no
Hmm.
like guesswork translating from paper to real life. It's just
Yeah.
all essentially real life.
Yeah, and that's what I can't wait to see. Like just thinking about that for like remodeling. Like if you want to see what your bathroom would look like, you just come into a person's room and you put on a headset, and they have your bathroom built from the square footage. What can be done with that, and you can go in there and play with it in real life. And
Yeah.
yeah, amazing things like that. Or like if you're buying a house, you no longer need the resources to spend money to furnish it. And obviously I know that helps sales as well because like sometimes people even buy the furniture that's already in the house that is being modeled. But if you're a new realtor, you can just say, hey, put on this headset. Let's walk around the house. Here's what it would look like with furniture, and here's what it looks like without no furniture.
What's funny is my girlfriend's watching a show right now called Dynasty. I don't
Hmm.
know if you've ever heard of it. It's
I've
like,
heard of
have
it.
you
Yeah.
heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she. I was. There was a scene that popped up where the main character, the girl, the daughter of the dad owner of the whole winery thing or whatever. She's wearing a headset, VR headset, and looking around. She's like, "What are you?" Her friends like, "What are you doing?" I'm looking at I'm touring a house right now because actually going to them is for peasants type of thing. And I was just like,
That's funny.
that's a trip. But like, I don't know how old that episode was, but I was like, that's gonna be for everybody, not in not too long of a time.
Yeah,
Just cool.
I don't know if you saw the new. I think it's a Netflix show. It's called Space Force. It's with the guy from The Office in there.
Yeah.
And there's an episode where they tried VR headset and like uh, the younger guy was playing around like having a freaking blast, and the older guy was like on his knees just throwing up just because he couldn't handle the immersion.
Yeah. It hits different for sure. I tried to get my girlfriend to play Vale, and within 10 minutes she just like you just see "Bleh," and she like had to take the
What?
headset off and run and right to the bathroom because she was trying to learn so that because she's going to go to the event too. And I was like, yeah, you can learn how to use the stock. And I was like, before you learn the stock though, you need to learn the regular VR because it's like going from this to this. And then every time, like she still gets the sickness, and she was running off of 120 hertz on the link cable. So I was like, you can't really get much better than that. And it's just the fact that your character in game moves so fast. And it wasn't even this. I tried the snap turn. That didn't help her at all. It's just the fact that when you press forward, you're moving as fast as you can the whole time. And I was just like, yeah, it's gonna mess you up.
Man, that it never messed with me one bit. I mean,
I mean,
the only thing that I've ever noticed is that I had like a week period where when someone would grab near me or someone would grab something, it would like feel like it floated away, and it was like in real life. I'm just like, what in the world? And like it was like really messing with my eyes, like in real life situations. Like I had someone like come to my like this. I'm like, oh no, it's gonna go through my face, and it's like, no, that can't happen in real life because
yeah,
like me playing Echo, me running into a wall, it's just like you get scared, but you go through the damn thing.
yeah. Was that after like a long play session or something, or like you've been playing a lot for intense, like Zenith intensely, and then all of a sudden a week
Oh,
later you're,
well, you got to think like when I first got VR, I was in VR probably 6 hours, 8 hours a day.
oh man,
Yeah,
that's a
I
lot. I've never done that. I actually I
and it
maybe
was
done that.
all Population One.
Damn.
Yeah, I played a lot of Population One. That's the reason why Havoc started in Population One because I tried to do everything possible when it came to that game because I loved it so much. It's just too bad I kind of grew away from it, and the community is very interesting. You want to talk about some freaking news? Like I don't know if you about esports stuff is that there is a league called Arc League, and they pretty much just disbanded this whole week. Like the biggest news in Discord right now was Arc League pretty much coming out saying that they're done, and they're the biggest league that's been built to date for VR. That what it had 4,000 people in there, some like 3,000, 4,000 people in there. Over like I think they had close to 150 to 200 teams, some of the top players in the world. Um, and now it's just all of a sudden it's like all these players their seasons are done because they're getting ready to start it, and they just said we're not doing it this year.
And so did they say why?
They just so here's the thing, and I don't feel like I know the people who run it very well. I even one of the people that were helping run it as well. Like the Complete Guarantee is the one who originally took it over from a guy named Toyko, who used to be called Mob Toyko. There's a whole history of that there. And then there was another league as well that then eventually merged into be Arc League, right? So Complete was actually on, I think, my very first podcast that ever kicked off this at all. So I know him pretty well, and then one of the players as well was on Havoc. And so I talked to, the person that was on my team because I was like, who knows what Complete's, I'm not even going to go there right now because he might need a little bit of a time to revamp or just relax, obviously, what it sounds like. But the person on my team was just like, look, like, it was a good time, good run. We didn't really want to stop, but it's just like we had no support. We had, the devs were no longer there to help us. The community is just ongoing being toxic. But then the biggest thing you look back at it is the main reason why it failed is 100%, and people can come at me whatever they want, but it's the development team that they used to be so part of the community when they first started this. Like I said, I started in Population One, and that's what made me love VR was that game. And then they got bought by Facebook, and then it's just like, all right, bye. And now people say they don't even communicate with anybody. I've tried to contact out to them. I've even tried to get them on the podcast. They just stone cold don't talk to you.
Did they so is it the same people on that team though after they got bought out?
Yeah, I mean, if I go on the list of their people that are in that Discord, yeah, I don't think they've. I think maybe one or two different names have gone away and changed, but other than that, it's the same team.
So what changed besides the money, obviously? Like what?
I think that unlike if you look at games right now, like Veil or soon to be like Ghost of Tabor, two top games that I will be talking about for a while. Just so I don't talk about them, but even if you talk about like Zenith, which is another kind of fail of a game as well, we can get into that as well. But if you look at all of them, they all started out with such strong communities, and it's just like Veil and Ghost of Tabor, you could tell that they're involved in their communities. Tropical has a really good following of his like OG fans that he has, and the people that are part of his what do you call a thing where you pay monthly whatever. Why can't I think
Patreon?
of it? Yeah, Patreon. He has a good Patreon following, and so you could tell that he's already had that because he was built up. So hopefully, as the money comes flowing in, he doesn't lose that ability to be part of the community because it means a lot to people in VR.
I mean, just to speak on that before you keep going, I could see it being he won't be such on the ground floor. Like right now, he like it's like life or death every day is like, we need to do everything we can every single day. And then once it gets more stabilized, then you'll probably see his presence less and less. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, now we have a finished product. I'll come in every now and then to say what's up. But if it keeps growing as it should. I'm talking from experience, by the way, from a company I currently work at, left and came back part time. It's the same scenario, like I had direct contact with the owner all the time. No matter, I can always walk in his office, say I have an idea, and then I left for a year, came back, and then it's like a corporate environment now.
Nice,
Still
yeah,
the same
yeah,
guy, but
but
like the
different.
fact that he's got 1,000 things to do, and it's
Yeah.
like this guy's looking at bigger picture stuff. He can't come doing everyday type of deals, and so
Yeah,
I can see that happening.
yeah, and I get it. And so the only way that I can like rebuttal with what you said is you have to have in place really good community managers to fulfill that piece that you literally just took from that that whole organization that you created right there. Because essentially what they do in these discords is they're creating a family. And as soon as you take away the Papa right there, which is Mr. Tropical, as soon as you take him away, then all hell breaks loose, and that's what happened with Population One. So many devs were interacting; they were coming in, doing a dev. You could see them play all the time, and but their community leadership just was not there, and I still don't see the greatest community leadership there, and that's why it's so toxic. And that's what it is.
Toxic in what way?
So just if you look at Population One alone, just the amount of just bitching back and forth and the complaining and like just nothing getting done. Like they have all these like for instance for that game alone, they make all these beautiful updates. They make these skins, but there's some really fundamental things that are still broken with the game that they don't give a shit about anymore. Like here's a new skin, let's forget about what needs to be fixed. Here's a new gun update. Let's forget about what's the underlying issue here, and someone that plays the game a little bit more than what I used to play now, they could probably go into more things. What's from the very beginning of the game that happened and what's still not fixed today. I don't play enough anymore to really dive into what is different, but I have still gone into the game months after not playing and still seeing the same issues. So I know, it's just not me saying I've never played and then I don't know what I'm talking about. But
That's the problem with games. Oh, as a whole, is money by far. Like when you got Call of Duty used to just be at its core just a really polished, good
yeah,
game, really solid maps. And it just grew because it was such a good game at its core. And then as you go on, They develop new things, and everybody tells them this is a bad idea, this is a good idea, and they don't give a fucking shit because
Mm-hmm.
they're, excuse my language, but they're
Yeah,
owned
good.
by, Activision. They
Yeah.
got all the money in the world. Same thing with Diablo and Blizzard. They do a mobile version, and everybody was just like, why? And then they just say, like, they tell you you're the problem because you're questioning their judgment. And I think people,
Yeah.
that there's a mentality I'm seeing a lot of, that you don't know what you want. I know what you want. Like, no, that's
Mm-hmm.
not even at all true. That's like, yeah, I feel like CEOs and like stock shareholders or whatever, those people just in it for the money. Oh, the formula here says this is what they want. Don't listen to them. Just give them this because this is what the formula says they should have.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray to God that Vale is turning that way because Vale is freaking dope. Everything about it, personally, I love. I know I'm a little bit biased, but at the same time, I truly like the game so much.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Ghost of Tabor. Like you're saying, like they're getting more developed with the community. I hope they kind of bring that same type of vibe. But we'll see. We'll just have to
Yeah.
see how it looks dope. I'll tell you that much. It looks
Yeah,
sick.
and really, that's all you can do is really see. I mean, like Zenith, for instance, was going to be literally. I was going to play my heart out of that game, and I did. I really played it, and I really enjoyed the time that I had until you get to endgame, and then endgame was just like, where's it at? They did an update, nothing happened. And it's still like I go in there now, it's a ghost town. And it's just like if you would have listened to the people that had experience and MMOs and all this stuff of open world, it's just like you can't release a game when the end game you have to find people that you have to have a guild or something or be friends with somebody in the game with a broken guild system that's still broke to this day, and you could
That seems like
still.
like a core feature, right? To have something like that ready at launch.
Yeah, and so no, the guild system was really broke at launch. They had like a guild thing in the Discord, but didn't make sense with what was in the game. It was just their own little fun thing they were doing. And then when you made the guild in there, the only time that you could accept people to the guild is you had to meet the owner of the guild to bring them in. And then the thing to set an officer to even allow it was broke. And I'm just like, this is such a pain. But it's like when they first built the game in Endgame, you were allowed to play the game by yourself. Obviously, be harder, but you could still play it by yourself. It's almost like Destiny. You could do almost everything by yourself. I mean, obviously, you're not going to do a raid by yourself. I've seen people two-man a Destiny 2 raid, which was pretty freaking impressive. But those are the pros of the game. Good for them. They're also running the fastest computers and the fastest freaking internet you could possibly do to beat things like that, though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and so now you look at it and it stinks, and it's just like I wish it was better. They still might do an update where they might fix the flaws that they have in it, but they're another thing where if you go into today, there's the same issues that were at the very beginning of the game that still have never been fixed.
And it makes you wonder, right? Maybe it's one of those things that they're just so hard to fix that they're just procrastinating it way too much, and it's
Yeah.
ultimately hurting them. Like some things, like you just got to address immediately and fix up, and just like, okay, bite the bullet. Let's grind for however long, get this done.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are you going to make happy?
Yeah.
And then, and because you have that, yeah. I mean, yeah, I just think more than anything, and the whole landscape of game development and releases has like changed so much, like from getting
And
a game on disc and it works
and
right there
that's what
outright.
people don't know. Like I'm not going to name the dev. If you want to go back to old podcasts, you can probably know exactly who I'm talking about. But I met a dev before where he was a late 90s, early 2000 dev. And I talked to him about like the model that he's going at now will not work, and he was so gung ho, like I'm dumb. He's made a game before, he's been part of it, and I go, that's cool. But I go, have you seen Fortnite? Have you seen Fortnite? Like, have you? I know, like like obviously you know what it is. If you have kids, obviously they're playing it. Who knows? You might play it, but it was a free to play game. They build it around selling skins, and it's almost like back in the day. I'm just gonna go off topic when the person who created Starbucks everyone said you're dumb for selling an $8 freaking cup of coffee, and guess what? The dude is a freaking millionaire.
Yeah.
People will
Yeah.
buy an $8 stupid cup of coffee. And so when people looked at the skin idea and they go, Epic, you're dumb. No one's gonna buy these skins. Have you met a 10-year-old that wants a cool skin?
That's the entire economy is just like yeah, they and kids only know Halo characters from Fortnite. They're like, "Oh, that's the guy from Fortnite,
Or
Master
Dragon Ball
Chief,
Z.
right?"
It's like,
Or Dragon
yeah,
Ball Z.
exactly. Dragon Ball Z's in there now. Like, no one's ever saw a Kamehameha or Goku before until they
I've heard
played
the way people
Fortnite.
call it too. They're like Kamehameha, like the weirdest way to say Kamehameha. Like you can hear it through
Oh
like
my, are they
Fortnite
really?
streamers. It's so bad, and they're
Oh
like
man.
people maybe a little bit younger than us,
Uh huh.
but still, like they've never even stumbled upon Dragon Ball Z. The only reason I know about it, I've watched maybe 2 episodes, but Budokai, I don't know if you
Uh
remember the
huh.
fighting game. I played the shit out of that game, and that's how I know a lot of the characters.
Uh huh.
But yeah, like with Fortnite though, I feel like they're just smart in terms of you really have the base though. You can do so much with a game as long as it just functions correctly.
Yeah.
You just make it work. Like you don't make it buggy as shit. You're not gonna have people making videos about how trash your game is because it has so many amount of bugs. Like Cyberpunk, for example, beautiful, great looking game.
That
First
was
6 hours
beautiful.
run
Game
great.
was game was horrible.
Yeah, I got through the first 6 hours and then like, I was like, dude, why is everybody saying it's trash? Like it's so good
It is
for the
beautiful.
first part because apparently all the bugs come after like that whole first intro sequence where, you go through that heist type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I stopped playing because, a lot of stuff happened. But
They're making an
yeah,
update, by the way, for that. I beat the whole game.
worth it.
Yeah, I beat the. Oh, so no matter what the game, if it's full of art like that and it's beautiful, I will get through the bugs. Like I crashed so many freaking times.
Oh,
It
man.
would piss me off. I would just be doing some crazy stuff and it would be just way too much going on, and all of a sudden blue screen. I'm just like, okay,
Oh,
yeah,
that bad.
yeah, oh
Dude,
yeah,
they'd had so many cool concepts though. Like they were so creative and they could have been insane. They could have been Elden Ring status like
yeah.
quality of like this is game of the year type of stuff.
Well, they started it like in 2011.
Yeah. That whole going in the past like everything you have so much creative freedom being in the future. You can just literally
Yeah.
come up with
Oh
whatever you
yeah.
want and they botched it
It's
so
almost
hard.
like another one, just like not talking about VR is Anthem. Like
It
I'm a
looked it.
big MMO person for like shooter looter type games. So like that's why like it was in my wheelhouse because I played hours of Destiny. I
Borderlands.
was a Sherpa where I would teach people how to run the raids and stuff.
You
And,
were like the old wizard man, like
yeah,
showing everybody the way.
I would show them the way and be doing like the hardest parts in it. And I had a blast. I was part of a really massive guild, and man, I miss those guys. I met a lot of good friends, and I think we just got tired of it. Destiny has got, it is a grind, and if you're not in it for the long haul, then you're just like,
Do
nope.
you make so coming from a person with I only got into PC back in 2016. That's when I actually started
Uh huh.
like PC gaming. So I wasn't as familiar with Discord and all that stuff as you taught. Like you pretty much made my entire platform for me, by the way. Thank you very much. You're
Yeah.
awesome. Um, did you did those Destiny relationships start on Discord or did they start in game or how did those
Yeah,
develop?
so when I first joined Destiny, it would have been 2013, 2014 around there. And in order to be part of this guild, like obviously they had a guild channel in like PlayStation. I don't think it was quite platform. You can't do PC to PlayStation or Xbox yet. And so everything you did, because we also had some PC ones, because the PC people that played Destiny, you can run the raid 10 times better and 10 times smoother. And a lot of the times, the people that owned a PC were the day one raiders. You could try it on PlayStation. It's just a PlayStation 4 back in the day was not running quick enough to. You want to load into the game and freaking confuse the boss as quick as possible with those games. So in order to be part of this group, you had to join the Discord. And so once you joined the Discord, Bungie had a link, so then it knew exactly who you are in the game. And the people that ran the Discord knew how to design bots to know how to do an LFG linked with the actual LFG. And it was a pretty tight Discord. I worked my way up to nobody knowing me to one of the moderators, so that was pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah. And yeah, like Discord is a very interesting tool. I'm pretty much good with it now. I understand how it works and, interactions and threads and everything like that, and how useful of a tool it really is.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, when like you're just starting out and you hop on it for the first time with zero guidance on how things work, you don't know. Like it's a big landscape to really maneuver because everybody's so experienced and things are so developed,
Hmm.
and you're just like, yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge, but
Yeah, like
yeah,
I
Discord is awesome.
guarantee maybe 10% know how to do the bot that I made for you.
Yeah,
Obviously it's just to follow a document, but a lot of people following a document, if they're not really tech savvy, it's going to be a pain in the ass because you have to get, the IP address and link it to Me6, and then you have to make sure that your Discord doesn't know who Me6 is anymore. It knows this Me6 that is really your bot. And it's just like hand in hand. I mean, it's really not that bad because, I mean, I have been doing it for, oh shit, what is it? Almost 10 years, I guess. So 8 to 10 years I've been doing Discord stuff. I built multiple people's Discords for them. I thought it was funny when I built yours. Obviously you can have free reign to your own Discord, but you were putting text channels, and I messaged you. I go, anyone that comes in, they can see all that stuff you just made. You go, what do you mean? I go, you didn't put any permissions on them.
yeah, dude. And I tried to make a Discord before I met you, and then I lost my phone thing, which made me lose my entire Discord I first made for the local esports stuff I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But like, I guarantee you, I made that whole thing where their permissions are just like everybody's got free range just to do whatever the hell they want, and it's still out there too. I don't have access to it. Um, yeah, I don't know where a link might be, but I don't have access to it. It's not official, so if you don't see a lot of people in it, and you don't see us in it active, then it's bogus, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that actually makes me nervous now thinking about that. How there's just another Olen VR Discord out there in the ether. Um,
And you
yeah,
don't know how to get to it?
no, so with my new account, I can't. You have to have so it's Google 2FA, the two-factor authorization,
Yeah.
and I have codes saved on my PC. Tried them, they just somehow just don't work. And then if you don't disable the two-factor authorization from your old phone, like upgraded phones,
Uh huh.
old phone is already turned in, deleted everything, and if you don't have that old phone to access and remove that 2FA, you're screwed.
Really?
Yep.
Even if you
So
if you wipe the phone, it deletes it.
yeah, it deletes it, but it doesn't delete like the fact that it's linked to specific accounts. So I have an old Olen VR account and an old Olen VR Discord where I have zero access to it, and then I can't verify my current one because of the phone number being associated with the previous account. So like certain channels, I think it was I forgot who it was, Preachers maybe, where I can't look at anything because I don't have 2FA or I
Yeah.
don't have my phone authorization.
I might
So
I might have some
right.
solutions for you after the podcast, but that's some nerdy stuff that I'll have to. I don't want to bore the people with.
Yeah, I mean, because I tried a lot, so anything else, like I'm still willing to try. But yeah, I was just like, okay, I guess I'm screwed here. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I've had a lot of people ask me to set up a Fiverr to do Discords, and I'm just like, as much as I probably it would be a good idea, and I've almost set it up like 3 times, and I'm just like, I don't want to be making all these freaking Discords. I go,
that would get old quick.
they're cool and all to make for people that I choose to make them for, but to keep making
Yeah,
them for people that I absolutely don't know or care about their product, I'd be like, I just can't get into it as much. Even though it would take me like a couple of seconds and I'd probably make, easily $50 to $100 every Discord I made.
yeah, there's the Havoc funding you got.
I know.
This Havoc is funded by Discord servers.
By my just ability that Mac and Fiverr.
Yeah,
So, you mentioned earlier about going to this Vail, Miami thing. I know it's been a hot topic and will be until next week is over because not next week, the week after, October 1st. That's very soon. I don't know if anyone knows this, if you haven't seen the last thing, but Vale VR, they are doing their league is through IVRL. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I'm right. They are putting together a lane event in Miami, and so the way the structure is going is that they've been doing a tournament for the past month or two now where they
Yeah.
have over 100 teams. It was an amazing amount of teammates, team players, and all that, setting up teams in a short notice of the game because they are still technically in a beta stage for a game. They're not fully at a full release.
I think they're
Um,
actually, if I'm not mistaken, that they're an alpha. They pull up Steam,
I
but
would hope they're not an alpha. But okay, if they're an
uh
alpha, but I don't know. While you look that up, I'm gonna finish out this. So pretty much to end this is basically the top five of this tournament that they're
so
having right now. Gets a trip to Miami that go for the championship for $35,000 minimum,
35K.
and they
A
haven't
lot of
raised it
money.
yet. So have they not got any new sponsors?
Wait, they haven't raised the 35K?
No, not that I know of. I thought.
I didn't even know there was a fund for it. I missed that part. Dude.
I mean, they
Whoops.
already know it's $35,000. And when the Tropical was on, he said that if they get new sponsorships and stuff, that it might up the pool. But as what I've seen so far, I have not seen any raise in money. So
Damn. So where do we find that, by the way?
what?
The pool, like to get the, what do you call it? The funding for the tourney.
It's just on IVRL stuff. It just says IVRL lane tournament $35,000 minimum prize $35,000.
IVRL.org. Let's see. I'm curious. I honestly had no idea that they were doing a funding pool for it. But
No. This is funded by. I think IVRL is putting up to $35,000.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. No, it's not a funded pool. They're doing it. But I'm saying is that if another sponsor came in and said, "Hey, let me be another portion of this," say for instance, Red Bull Gaming, which is pretty big in esports. They came in and said, "Hey, we're interested in VR. We're also going to sponsor this. Just have the people drink Red Bull and have heart attacks on the stage playing VR. We'll give you another $100,000," and they increased the prize pool.
That makes sense. I don't see that being likely. Um, yeah. I mean, I don't see it likely, but I mean, I don't know. Uh, I understand the whole Red Bull thing. Like they were like hoping to get some type of drink sponsorship. I don't know the specifics on it, in terms of where that's leading. But yeah, I know the 35K is happening,
You know what they could have
and they
done?
got the four teams, and they're spending a lot of money to fly everybody
Yeah,
out
they
there
are.
and get
Yeah,
them
they are.
roomed up. And then I'm sure they were like a little bit frustrated when I've had this happen before too, when like you do a giveaway or something,
Hmm.
then the person that wins lives in like the UK or freaking Canada,
Yeah, that's got
so
to be
you got to spend
expensive.
$50 to ship it, and you're like, dude, this giveaway just doubled in value. Damn it. Um,
That's gotta stink. That's why, like, are you allowed to limit giveaways to just United States, Canada, and then if you're only in the UK to the, to that part of the world, or is it you have to open it for everybody?
Now you can do whatever you want in terms
Yeah,
of like openness to shipping. But yeah, I was just like, you know what, dude, like if somebody literally halfway across the entire world has heard of me and wants to, like, they win, that's a message. Like they need to try it. Hopefully they tell their friends in Austria or whatever. It'll be dope. And so like Blue A55T, he's in Canada. He won some merch from us, and it was a struggle because that was when we first started too, and I really had no money, and I was just like, dude, are you
Canada's
kidding me
harder
right
to
now?
ship.
What's that?
Canada's harder to ship to.
No, it's more expensive. No, I'm saying it was hard, like, like you first starting out in
Yeah,
a
yeah,
business,
yeah. But it's
and
more expensive just because it's
yeah, it's double,
literally
like
a
it's
border
about 50
across.
bucks.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to go through customs.
Dang.
You got to pay VAT fees, or like the customer has to pay VAT fees, and then UPS just literally charges you double. You can go with USPS, and it's still about maybe 25 bucks, but the shipping time is like 15 days. It's like literally 2 weeks, like actual delivery time.
Do you make your own
But
merchandise?
no, right now we're doing it through Printful. We do have some sick jerseys. So like me and the crew, when we're going out there, we have custom baseball jerseys,
Uh-huh.
and I kind of modeled them after the Yankees jersey, where it has the NY and then like a Nike symbol up here, but you got the
Mm-hmm.
Olen symbol up here, and then the spine logo here,
Oh, that's nice. Cool.
and those are kind of getting embroidered and they're getting printed locally. And but yeah, making our own stuff. I looked into the cost and everything. It's pretty cheap, but it's just a lot of it's very time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm already kind of stretched thin, so I don't want to add more to my plate, unfortunately. So
That's why I'm just surprised, like, for that company, like, usually when you go through bigger printing companies, they'll have a printing place in that country that you're selling to as well. So say Canada, man, like it'd be easier just to have something there and ship it for cheaper. But maybe they get a profit off it. I don't think they do though.
so they are they have the screen printing company that I'm pretty sure that helped them make their merch having a booth there. What's strange is like I'm kind of being wary about what I'm saying is because I haven't really seen a lot of specifics to announce. And so like when you go to the IVRL Twitter and their website, they say like esports brands or VR brands are going to be there and stuff. Well, immersive activations crafted by top VR brands. Awesome, but they don't really say who, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know if they don't want to say it or just because it's at the same time they're figuring out as they go. This is like the first time they're really ever doing something at
I
this
know,
scale.
but there's lane models out there, and it's just like you're gonna have vendors that want to sell stuff there.
Yeah.
So why not have them chip in on like you know being part of it? I don't know. Um, I don't know enough about what's going on for that. It is their very first one. But like I said, if you talk to any organization person who's ever put to esports or even has done a lane event, there would have been nothing wrong with them going over and talking to, Timber, the CEO of NEPA, and being like, hey, what'd you do and how'd you deal with sponsorships when you did your lane event in St. Louis? You know, I just, like I said, and I'm going to keep saying this until I find out if it's successful or not, is that if this lane event it does not go smoothly and it'll tarnish the record of VR, and I think it will scare away a lot of top contenders that could come into VR down the road.
I don't think
Um,
it'll scare them. I think that
it'll
it'll
stagger them.
be no, it'll say in my head it's fail VR does it right, then their reputation's going to skyrocket along with because you got a
I'm
lot
just
of
saying,
content
but they
creators
what
who
if they fail though?
no, yeah,
Okay, I'm
let me
listening. I'm
speak my
listening.
piece. I'm
I'm
getting to
listening.
that
I thought
part.
you were
That's
saying they're
half of
doing
it.
good. I go, what are you talking about? Okay, I got you. I got you.
Obviously, I want them to do good.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
just for the work that we're doing
Hypothetically
with them.
talking.
Yeah. So yeah, it does good. Reputation goes up. More VR attention in general. Like, oh, VR is legit. Like, more people are going to take it seriously. On the offhand, I can see it as like it goes terribly. Hypothetically speaking, it goes bad. Then you got some other game company, which I'm sure the first one I could probably tell you're thinking of is Ghost of Tabor, the CEO that you had on, the way he talks about things. They're just going to see that as like, oh, this is what they did wrong. Oh, we can do this
Yeah,
better. We can do
yeah,
this better.
exactly.
That's just business too.
Yeah.
Like you look at someone else's model and you say, what are they doing wrong,
Mhm.
and then how do we improve that? And that's just how things work. And I can easily see someone else is going to do it.
I
And
know.
there's too much attention on VR now, and you have
Yeah.
all the people who showed their interest, like that Jakey guy, Nakey Jakey on Twitter. He's got Barstool Esports. They're a huge channel, and they got a huge following.
Who?
And
From
Nakey
Barstool?
Jakey,
I'll have to look him up.
Barstool Esports, or not Barstool.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Barstool. Barstool.
No, Barstool has an esports channel now, but there's another.
Oh
I can't
man,
even think of the name.
I'm waiting for. I emailed Jet Portnoy for some conversations about some VR stuff, and he has not reached out back to me yet. So who knows?
Jeff Portnoy. Yeah, I'm sure that dude's a real
It's
gamer.
not
He
Jet
looks
Portnoy.
like
It's
it.
Dave Portnoy. It was a
Oh,
joke.
Dave Portnoy. Yeah. right over my
Because
head. Well, shit.
on his podcast, he'll call people wrong names sometimes. Well, he did it for what's the girl that dances on TikTok all the time? Was saying her name like wrong all the time. And so every once
I
in a
don't
while,
know.
I just watch his podcast, and he was so sometimes I'll be like, yeah, it's Jeff Portnoy, and someone will look at me and like, what are you talking about? It's Dave. But anyway,
Dave
yeah,
Portnoy.
Dave Portnoy. He's a fun character. I like his pizza reviews and everything he does. Like, but yeah, I seriously emailed him about a very serious thing that I want to do. Nothing came back. Very sad. But the thing is like if you want to talk about big contenders, especially that has something with esports. But I don't even think you finished who you were talking about before with your esports. Who you're talking about?
Oh, I couldn't. I was trying to look for him real quick while you're talking to. I can't
Okay.
find him. But like he's got like 300,000 followers on Twitter, and to get followers on Twitter is not easy. So like you already know, and his TikTok is like 1 million views, and they have I actually watched them as they started to come up on YouTube too, just like
Mm-hmm.
kind of be esports news and things like that.
Yeah.
And Yeah, huge channel. They're gonna be there along with a lot of other content creators. So like, if this all goes as
They're
planned,
VR.
no,
Okay.
which is even better to like
You
because
have to you have
these
to
people
find out
have
for me who they are.
oh I know it after the show I'll send you the link, but like yeah,
Okay.
huge names, big time, and they will help BR so much. They're gonna bring it to light. They're gonna show the hype of like how this actually is. Like people just hear VR and think gimmick, hear VR and think, oh, it looks like Nintendo 64. No, you're tripping, dude. Get yourself like a decent setup, just like you have like a decent, you got the PS5, you got like an okay computer. Just add a headset to that real quick. You're cruising playing one
Light
of the
years away,
best.
dude.
What's that?
If they actually put a good headset on instead of running something that, getting a shitty game. No, I mean, no, we're not saying it's shitty, but like the whole Plank game or like
Yeah,
some of the dumb shooting
trash
games, like
gimmicks.
yeah, they're gimmicks, and it's just like that's what people think is VR, and it's
Hmm.
not.
Not even
Freak, like
close.
I don't even care if you buy a Quest headset. Obviously there is better headsets out there that will give you better gaming experience, but a Quest headset is good enough for an average user who can't just spend $1,000 or at least like $4,000 because you also get the good ass PC. But the thing is, play Population One, play Contractors, play Pavlov, get into Zenith. Get into any of the Ways to Die game, or I thought what was it?
Saints and Sinners, Walking Dead is another
Yeah, any
big
of
one.
those. Any game that is worthwhile that you should be playing. Stop going for these gimmicks, walking off a plank, letting your grandma smash her head into a wall.
Yeah.
As funny as it is watching people eat shit, that, and I know people post it, and I don't blame them for posting it. It's good for content, but people literally think that's VR. But if you start making plays like good plays like they do in Call of Duty and start putting it in content creation, that becomes the new gimmick thing right there, and not
Yeah.
just jumping off of a plank. Because in the real
Yeah.
life, you don't. How many often when you see people do a plank video? How often do you see them in the game? No, you see them playing the game in real life, busting
Yeah.
their ass somewhere. You don't see the
Yeah.
game.
I and there's really no the only barrier to entry really, well, I guess there's two. First is play space, and you at least need like a 6x6. You need to clean your room essentially, or move your bed somewhere. And then the motion sickness thing, where personally I had the same thing. Like I ran into the same kind of initial when you expect to move a certain way and you don't, it kind of hits you, and you got to take off the headset and you take a break. And because there's such a it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah.
You're like afraid to jump back in because it's like, man, I want to play games just because I'm bored to a degree, but like I'm kind of afraid to put on the headset because it's like it takes a lot of effort. But when you first do it, when you finally make the step to do it, then it's like like, why the hell have I not been doing this? Like it's so immersive, it's so insane. Like especially with competitive Pavlov is what really picked me back up into playing. like really hardcore.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really have a gaming PC capable of it. I was stuck with Onward. Wasn't much of a fan of contractors. So yeah, as soon as I played Pavlov and saw all the custom maps and everything, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is for sure it. Looks good, feels good, and yeah, like I think it's just because it's not easy. It's not easy. Like there's, you gotta get up and you gotta go through the steps of getting things operating if you're gonna run from your computer. You gotta start up the system. Sometimes you gotta do troubleshooting. It's not like loading up battle.net and playing some Overwatch or something. Just
Yeah.
click two buttons and you're there. It's like, no, you got to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and the like from what I've heard too is the refresh rate is a massive factor in your motion sickness. So once that reaches like 200 FPS, that motion sickness will probably be gone more than likely, or very, very, very minimal. And then that'll just be out the door, and that'll never be like a conversation part
Really?
of it. It'll be rare. Yeah. I forgot where I saw that from, but they're like, oh yeah, the FPS. I think it was Mark Zuckerberg too that mentioned it, or the what's his name? The guy who made Doom, who was working with Oculus. But yeah, he either one of them, somebody mentioned it, and I was like, that makes the most sense because like you're moving, like your eyes are assuming that you're moving in real life, like your brain is, but you're not. And when you jerk one way or another, there's that little bit of stutter instead of just, you got frame rate issues in real life, and your brain's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. I mean, you could have as much FPS as you want, but you're always going to drop frames. Like, and that's internet connection as well, especially if your PC is not handling the load and it's going to be cloud. Everything's cloud servers anymore. If they're busy and a new game just came out, or even just Population One, if you get on the wrong server and you're like somehow in a European server, you're jumping around, and you want to talk about seeing some weird stuff. I played Population one time, and I was standing still, and all of a sudden I just like went forward, and it just completely shoved me through a wall so fast, and I just
Ugh.
sat there and like I was drinking a few alcoholic beverages, and I'm just like, whoa. That was a little bit intense there, guys. So that was
Yeah, that for me that'd be like, all right, it's time to take this off for a second. Like I did that for sometimes Veil will kind of like get glitchy on you for whatever reason. It might be my computer too. I mean I got a 3070 Ti, but like I still only get like 140 FPS for like COD. So I'm like, dude, is this like did I buy like a knockoff graphics card? Because I thought this was
It's
supposed
your
to be like the new
internet.
generation.
It's your internet.
No, I got the whole 1,000 gigs per second. Like, I
Hardwired
got
in?
it hardwired in. The router's sitting right below me right now. Um, but like yeah, well like once it starts getting glitchy, and you know what I'm talking about, where like
Yeah.
it shows you the screen of what like a normal flat screen and the black around it, and like and it catches up with you and you look one way, and then I'm
Yeah.
just like, no, I can't do that. Like that's what gets me sick still to this day. Is just like that
Jumping
weird.
around, yeah. Jumping around is not
Yeah,
fun. Yeah, but you know
yeah.
who would have been a really good sponsor? It's probably too late now, but with who they are now and how big they are, would be the Prime.
Fine.
Prime, yes, look it up. It's Logan Paul and KSI from the UK. They teamed up after they had like this. After they freaking like pretty much hate each other, they got in a boxing ring with each other, and then down the road they made this Prime drink, and it's like literally battling against some of the biggest uh, um, just sport drinks out there. It's like I think it might have like 10 calories in it, and it's made with coconut water. It's pretty legit. I like it.
Oh, you tried it?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's all over the place where I'm at.
This looks like the same formula as what do you call it? Or body armor.
No,
Coconut water, BCAAs,
wait, no,
electrolytes.
yeah, body armor though. Go check the calories on that.
Bad.
Go look at the sugar in it.
I mean, it tastes delicious, so there's no way
Oh,
it's
it's
that
great.
good, and
It's
then it's
great,
not
but
bad for
you're
you.
slowly killing yourself with a body armor. Like I don't get me wrong, I love a good body armor, but the Prime stuff, it's for what's in it. Like making it like a sports drink. 10 calories.
250 a bottle when you're buying 12 of one flavor at a time. See, that's what I don't understand either. Like when you got these companies making all this, like they I guess they charge prime pricing for their stuff, and they don't have to pay the overhead of like delivery fees of sending it to like Circle K or
Mm-hmm.
Quick Trip or whichever, the gas station and stores. They're not in stores or whatever you call it. And if and so they just have it on their site, the least amount of overhead as possible, and they still charge you the very prime price, like $30
Oh,
for a
really?
12 pack. $30 for a 12 pack of that
30,
prime stuff.
$30 for a 12 pack?
So if you invest $30 into them, they're not giving you a single type of discount. You're paying full price still for one
30,
flavor of 12 of them.
$30 for a 12 pack?
I don't like now. I mean, I'll try if it's at a gas station for like $3, but I ain't paying that. No, who's gonna pay that? Who pays that?
I mean, so like this hat, this is a high noon hat, which I've been a big fan of lately. But um, if you buy them in a gas station, they're $21 for 8, and then in a bar they're like $4 to $4.50, sometimes $5, depending on where you're at for one in a bar.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
yeah, because you're paying like gas station. I understand it like being cheaper, but like at a bar, you're
Yeah.
paying for the atmosphere.
Yep,
More than
paying
anything
for the
else.
atmosphere. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, they would have been really big because I know that they like esports stuff. So Jake Paul, he's pretty big in the esports scene for flat game. But so I'm not gonna say what community talked about this because it was an internal community like talk they had. I don't know if they released it on YouTube or what, but it was these four top people that just pretty much talk about VR all the time. They do YouTube videos, so you probably assume you can pinpoint whatever I'm saying from right
Wait,
there.
wait, four people that do YouTube videos talking about something?
So they were talking about all these new headsets. They were talking about their community and all this stuff. I'm not particularly fans of them because they're people in the VR that are old school VR people that do not want change. It seems like it is like the way VR is now. If it stays like this forever, I think they'd be completely happy because they're killing it. They're killing it in this formula that's right now. But as soon as these big top dogs start coming in, I'm sorry, like you're either gonna have to
Threatens their-
find, it's gonna wreck them. And so someone came in, and like I said, no names need to be said on this in this, but
Yeah, we don't need to call anybody out.
yeah, someone came in and said, hey, what do you think about Jake Paul coming in and like being someone to be part of VR? They come in because we need somebody. And
Need money.
Yeah,
We need strictly, like,
need money. Or
money,
like
dude.
even if you got like a Doctor Disrespect, or if you got like a Ninja, you got anyone from Optic, or you got anyone from FaZe that come in. All you need is one top tier individual. Even if you got Shroud, the number one freaking flicker in the freaking in the PC world.
He's a robot.
He's a freaking robot. He is aimbot. They developed
Yes,
all
he is aimbot.
He is aimbot. You know, the dude's any one of those people could come in and completely change the way that we see and feel VR just because of the freaking hype they would bring.
Well, I guess because Shroud did. He played Pavlov. I think we talked about this last time too.
Yeah,
but
we
like,
did,
I guess, I maybe if they stuck to it, but like they really can't because like they got to make money at the same time. So it's like, no, I got to keep streaming flat screen, and it's hard to interact with like chat more often and really see what's going on. And it's just more difficult. But yeah, I mean, like
Not
at least you get them all to try.
Liv is doing a really good job, which I'm so disappointed that they kind of just ghosted me. They were supposed to come on, and no, they just never showed up. So never even got an email back. So
reach
that
out
really
again.
stinks.
You're gonna reach out.
I'm gonna have to. You guys, hey, don't be ghosting me, man. But anyways, Liv. So they have really yeah, I get it. They're busy.
They're gonna be available, by the way. They're gonna be at the event.
Oh yeah, you tell them.
Which you're not going to, bro. You can tell them up to their face.
I would too. I'd be like, I don't know who did it, but someone emailed me and said they were going to be on my podcast, and guess what? They're lucky that I had a golf outing and I got too drunk to even do the podcast. Okay?
Man, that's not a good look. You just say they hurt your feelings, and you're never going to recover until they come back on.
Never. Feelings that hurt. I'm not going to use your product until you come on.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I want to, but I won't.
Yeah, but anyways, to talk about them, they actually have some really good features where it comes to helping those people out that are worried about not getting that communication anymore with their people. Like they have the nice wrist turn. They make you immersive into the game. They can even overlay you into the character as well. So like, you imagine how freaking amazing Doctor Disrespect would be, freaking in that freaking virtual world, just hyping it up in his character
Yeah.
that he
They
is.
already made his render, and 2K already made his actual 3D render, so like you literally physically be in VR as well. Like his whole
Exactly.
persona, it won't just be like a
Exactly.
random character. But yeah, I could. It's just a matter of time, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's gonna be them switching over gradually to VR, or I mean, because they've been doing the same thing forever. I feel like the big ones have innovated constantly, but um, yeah, you got like Thrill Seeker. I feel like he's kind of a different. He's like a niche, with like the whole DJ clubbing and kind of just VR news.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him give takes on games and how they play and everything. I guess he's more just about hardware and the community around things going on in news.
What's the name
But
again?
yeah, Thrill Seeker.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like there's Haby 123. I don't know if you heard of him. The smooth brain guy with the pig for the icon, like his profile picture on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that guy. He is genuinely a funny person. It seems like he's not even trying to be funny, but he's just really funny. But like he's just like completely honest about his shit. Like even like Vale, for example, they wanted to sponsor him, and he's just like, yeah, like I just wanted to be able to talk freely about the game. And guess what? I still love it. But like he just makes cracks jokes. He's got a huge following. The only downside I think is that he doesn't just show any type of persona of himself. Like people want to put a face to the name sometimes. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
they want to feel connected. Like yes, this guy's voice is what we're connecting with,
Yeah.
but that's it. I mean, like there's still someone we need someone to like look at and be like, that guy, he's the one that I like to watch and enjoy his content. I think people are. I don't know. It can't be a hardware limitation because he's like a huge content creator. But we need more people just willing
Are
to
you
just
talking
put
about Pig
themselves
Pig
out
on
there.
PC?
No, his name's Haby. So his name's
Havy.
Haby123
And
and
and and and so he commentates.
147. Excuse me, Haby147. He's got really good. He just like he does. He's specifically about games. He'll talk about Blade and Sorcery. He'll talk about Into the Radius. Talk about Bale, Pavlov, like the new prop hunt that was on Pavlov. And it's very whimsical, like casual, just like personal reviews on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we need more people willing to just put themselves out there and try new and exciting stuff that aren't just like cheesy, I guess.
Yeah, and so I follow. Like I try and limit on the people that I watch on VR, because if you watch too much VR stuff, then they get really opinionated. Like even like you mentioned, Thrill Seeker. He's a huge person. He has a huge community in Discord. He does really good stuff on tech. Like his most recent one is talking about this extra wide 200-degree freaking
IMAX.
headset.
Yeah.
And yeah, he does good things, but he's even mentioning, and the good thing is that at least he mentions that sometimes he is opinionated. And you mentioned him being in for Vale. He is actually on their board of directors of not like being part of their
Like
group, but an
marketing or something.
advisor, like almost
Yeah,
like
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
and so he helps it out, and so he kind of broke down like the top first-person shooters, and he's like, you can completely disregard of what I'm about to say with Vale because I'm very opinionated on it. How can I talk shit about a game that I try and help them make it better? And so
Yeah.
I'm like, at the end of the day, then you shouldn't be doing a first-person shooter video. It's just
Yeah.
like, then just wait until all the Vale hype is over and you're not in that situation anymore to be like, oh yeah, this is the number one game because I helped them make it.
Well, like I personally disagree just because we've done the same thing where like we're saying, dude, go sign up. Like, oh, we're working with gun stocks for them. But like I wouldn't first, yes, I'm stoked to be working with a gaming company in general,
Mm-hmm.
but this type of quality game, yes, I'm biased, but at the same time, I'm still a gamer. I played games my whole life. I played a
Yeah.
lot of VR. It's that good. And as long as like you put a disclaimer out there, I feel like it's fair to like, okay, now you're informed about where they're coming from, this opinion. you can still listen to it with a grain of salt. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
oh, maybe they're missing some like if they intentionally leave out like flaws in a game, then yeah, it's understandable. But like in general, it's just like dude, it's just a fun game.
mm-hmm.
It's gonna have bugs. This is what you would come to expect. Let's hope that they fix them and they keep improving it like they're doing. And just
Yeah.
specifically available, like any other game too. I mean, um, yeah, any other game really. Like I got a lot of hope for Ghosts of Tabor. Uh, it's hard to just know what to expect with them. You know, like
Yeah, yeah.
they put out little tidbit trailers and they all look really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But they're I hope they kind of
I
put more info
I
out there. You know?
really so like what you have Vale, like I really enjoy Scott. I've had him on twice now. But I can't give a solid opinion until I play what they promise, which is Quest. Or meta. You know, if I don't get any of it's still meta quest. If I don't get that version of the game and they say it's gonna be fully released when they do PCVR, I'm not saying they're not. You know, that's their goal. You know, that's their main goal, and that's a really cool thing to do because they agree with the same thing that everyone agrees with. Why remove 90% of the market? Which that makes sense. But the thing as well, they're making the game in they're making the game in what's the engine in Real Engine, and so they're using that engine. They're not using Unity, which also has its own challenges as well. Not very many VR games are made with Unreal Engine, and then not only that, but the game so far, with it being so beautifully designed and look, yeah, they got it functionally working in PC VR. But now translating that without losing too much into the quest because the quest just limits you so much. Like I said, like as someone who is a major quest player, like I just want to see what they promise, you know, and then I'd be like, okay, I'm really hooked into this. If not, I'm getting a PC VR anyway, so it's just like I'm gonna eventually play it.
Have you've heard of Bone Labs, right? Boneworks is like Quest version of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not out yet, right? But like from what I understand, I forgot who was talking about it. They're like, look how beautiful Bone Labs looks. This is just proof that nobody's using the Quest 2 to its full potential, like really optimizing it, really putting in the hard work to just get the best out of this damn headset.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll probably lay the groundwork for other people to do the same thing. And then there'll be like no excuse. Like, dude, Bone Labs can do it and it looks this beautiful. Why can't you do it?
Well, the Quest,
I guess
the Quest by itself can push 120 hertz without a PC.
Yeah.
No one's done it yet.
Oh no, it's I thought it was 90.
Is it 90 the max or
yeah?
No, 120 the PC, 90 max. Yeah, sorry. Most games are 60 right now. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. But also another good person to watch that I've also had on the podcast, and this is the main person I watch for news and stuff because I trust his opinion because I know for a fact that he plays the game from start to finish and will not give he doesn't care if he'll get more hype doing the review the day the game comes out, but he completely has to beat the whole game before he does a review. And that's probably the best way to do a review because who wants to play a game for an hour and listen to a guy be like, yeah, this game sucks. But what if the game
a lot of people have done,
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe the first hour sucks. But then you get into the middle of it and you start falling in love with the game. You start getting connected to the characters and the story. And then you have this badass ending and you're just like, wow, if that ending wasn't so slow, I would have instantly gave it a better review. But anyways, his name is Mateo311. Definitely like his stuff. You don't know who he is, highly recommend looking up his stuff. He does weekly news updates and stuff, and then game reviews as well. Talks about all the new games, and he's one of those people that he's not big. I think he said wasn't big on like puzzles and stuff, but he'll play the puzzle game if he has to for review. But he plays like the other games that you wouldn't think of. Like he's just not strictly first-person shooter. He's going out and playing like Blades and Sorcery and things like Moss Book 2 and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we just need more people like that, but also to put in a lot of the hard work, like the ones that'll grind to like really put out the high quality stuff instead of just like here's some just gameplay with me talking over it. yes, that does have its place in it, but you really need people to put in like the really strong production value to really draw more people's
Yeah.
attention. Because it just looks gimmicky and it looks lazy, and it's like, what if you don't really care enough to put in the extra work? Why should I care?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how Habe is, or not Habe, the Mateo. But like, Thrill Seeker does a little bit of it, but I still notice him using the same clips of him playing Boneworks with the Master Chief skin on, shooting pistol as robot guys. He does that in a lot of his videos. It seems like there's just like that extra filler content that he uses. I'm like, dude, he does have good production value. He knows how to do it, but he just doesn't put in the
Yeah.
work.
I could say it's too fresh to say what I have in my head right now, but I definitely know what you mean. There was a newer game that they allowed a player that is testing the game. Since they're not releasing any actual gameplay, they literally just took layover of contractors and talked about Ghost of Tabor. And I'm just like, I get it, you don't want to show the work, but I'm just like, I just don't want people to get so confused that this is the game. They're like, that's contractors.
Yeah, that's a weird look. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just hope to see more of that. More hard work put into it, and you got a lot of people. I mean, what's cool about VR right now is it's still a small community. You can still really make good relationships and it doesn't feel overwhelming. And there's not, I mean, except for like with Population One, there's not like a whole consensus of like this is either toxic or it's not toxic. Yeah, it still like has the healthy spots and pretty much
Mm-hmm.
anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make friends, and everybody's for the most part very friendly,
Yeah.
and that's what I appreciate. It seems like most of the time, the ones that aren't friendly are just like the ones looking to cause trouble.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I definitely see what you mean there. And or they just don't want, like I said, like there's certain people that don't want VR to at all grow because then it hurts them.
yeah, and that's just like that's sad, dude. You got to innovate. Like that's like the epitome of America in general. Like that, you love it or hate it, but like that's what's brought so much cool shit. That's what brought VR is the fact that they've innovated flat screen into what it is now. The hard work of the main creator, I forget his name. I really wish I didn't. But
Mm-hmm.
him just trying to do new shit, trying to challenge, and then bringing more new shit. That's why Oculus is getting better. They're adding finger tracking for free. They're adding the 120 hertz options for free, the 90 hertz, 75, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, and
Uh,
I'm trying to get. Oh man, I wish I remembered the game that is out, but it's the second. I believe it's the second of their series, but you can play it on the Quest. It just came out, and it's just basically the whole concept is you throw away the controller, and you play with your hands.
huh. Is it
Yeah.
called throw away your controller?
Yeah, I no, I don't think so. and
That's a good name.
yeah, oh man. But anyways, they should. Been trying to talk to them on getting onto the podcast. Trying to find the new. Let me see if I can't find this. And then also, there's like some really good games. Like I want to sit here. I don't know if you played it yet, but Ultimech. Have you played it yet,
No, I heard of it.
dude? Let me sit here and just like as I'm trying to scroll through this and think of thoughts, but there is always a time where new games come out and the biggest thing is server issues or the game isn't running up to par. There's still issues and all this stuff, and this is a game that I played their beta stage through. And when I played their beta, it was very finicky. Wasn't something that I thought would have been at all enjoyable. Let me just say that. And then they went and did their conference over. I think they did it in Switzerland or something like that. They had some VR event where they pretty much showed their games. And then they had a major hype around Ultimate, but I've never seen it since beta ever again. I know they had a preseason that a lot of people really enjoyed, but they were still making a lot of massive changes. So I played day one of this game coming out, and I'm blown away. Like I've never seen a game go to where I'm like iffy on beta to where like it was smooth, no server issues. I loaded in just fine with people, and it just played beautifully. And like obviously there's still some things that I wish would not be, part of the game. So, like, obviously, I don't know if you see the playstyle, but you jump from square to square, almost like you're a pawn in a game. But you can shoot. You can sit there and shoot your arms, and you have other abilities with these 3 mech characters at the time. I don't know if they're expanding, but I wish it was free roaming, walking, and you dashed instead of that jump motion. But other than that, and that's just a personal thing, the game alone is very well built. So good, congrats to them on that on a really good launch day.
Nice. Yeah. So it's like XCOM, but with you can shoot in the square instead of directing the person to shoot. Like you click here and shoot this guy, like kind of like chess.
Now,
You actually shoot.
so you played Rocket League, right?
Yeah.
So imagine Rocket League or even the VR game Knock. You can also use that as an example as well. You're in this arena, and for this game, you have a goal at the bottom, which is 1 point, and then you have a circle goal above, which is like an ultimate goal, and that's 2 points, which is really hard to hit. And so you have 3 base mech characters. You have one that is pretty much like got a little bit more speed to it. It has like when you use its ability, it's like a freaking a sniper. That you shoot straight the ball straight in, and then the second one is like an all around. All its stats are balanced, and then its thing does when you do it, you shoot the arms, and then you hit the trigger, and then the hands blow up. And so it also has splash damage as well. So you can also, if you're playing 2v2, right now I guess it's kind of overpowered where you can blow up both mech characters and get an easy goal. And then the third one is more defense. It's the tank, and it puts up this huge barrier wall. So like if someone's getting ready to do a goal and they're like more like the goalie type status, they can put a wall up and it stays up until someone scores a goal. And so you're moving around with hitting A button, and you just point which direction you want to jump, and so you're jumping constantly. And then you can shoot one hand at a time, and then you direct the hand like this. You move your wrist, and the hands will move, and you just try and hit the ball.
That sounds interesting. Sounds tricky. Very tricky.
Oh, I played like 50 games the first day.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was doing pretty good my first day.
Nice. So Battle Mechs?
Ultimex.
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 Is that on Quest Store or is it on SideQuest?
It is on the Quest Store. It is a released game. It is made by Resolution. The same people that made so they made Demio, and they also made why am I blanking on their gunslinger game? I have it. 24 is our best player in the game. What's it called? Brain fart. So anyways, it's why can I not remember what game it is? I'm trying to figure out this game that you play with your hands, and it's really irritating.
Accounting Plus.
Accounting Plus?
You ever played that one?
No.
So Rick and Morty creators made it. That's another fun one.
VR?
Yeah, it's not technically Rick and Morty licensed, but it's Justin Roiland made it.
Blast On.
He seems like a huge Blast On.
Yeah, they made that
Gotcha.
too.
Nice. Well, shoot, I gotta try that one out then. Yeah, I've been just mainly heavily into that. I played a little bit of Resident Evil 4, or heavily into that. Talking about Bale and Pavlov mainly, a little bit of Contractors. I've been tempted to go back into Onward, honestly, because it looks. If I can find people to actually play with more tactically,
I'll play with you.
Do you know how to the meta and like how the game because I have no clue how to like really play tactically and stuff. Or do people actually do that?
Yeah, people play technically. I've been trying to find something for a first person shooter that I can just like chill with like sometimes. And I think Onward is like that. I didn't really get too much into it just because going from a population one world to try and find another first person shooter is really hard for me because the shooting in every other game compared to population one are so polar opposite. Like And now if I go back to Population 1, I have to sit there and remember how to load certain guns because every other game you use trigger to load, but then you use grip to hold. But in Population 1, it's grip for everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you can change those settings, but
I know, but I
I
like
thought
the
you were
trigger.
talking about. I was assuming that you would go towards. I'm trying to pick it up as you're talking too. Go towards that one game having crosshairs in game first off, and then I was gonna bring up Valorant in VR that they're already making, a company in China. Um, but yeah, that's like the one thing that really is kind of fun about it, having your actual crosshairs show up. I feel like it makes it maybe a little bit too easy sometimes, but
Hmm.
it's a nice change of pace going from just like total serious shooters to just freaking wave your wrist or mainly just wrist control. Essentially, you don't even need um double steady hands.
Yeah, you talking about like Population 1?
Yeah.
So when I first started playing Population 1, I never used the crosshairs ever. And then after playing hours and hours of contractors, when I went back to Population 1, I started using the crosshairs. And it changed. I mean, I could tell that it was a little slower, but I was 10 times more accurate than just trying to fly around and just try and, laser them down. But
Yeah.
they've been coming out with some pretty awesome guns in Population 1. I've been thinking about getting back on, but every time I come back on, I have like 1,000 people. Like I have to tell them the same story. Where you been? And I'm like, right now I'm building a new website for Havoc, and so I'm just like, yeah, I got on to play Ultimate, and then other than that, the past week I haven't touched VR just because I've been trying to figure out this freaking website that I've literally redesigned like 3 times now.
That sounds lovely. You can't make your mind up. You're just like, oh, I want to change this back, and then it makes you change everything else because this doesn't fit there, and you
Well,
know that feeling.
yeah, and like so I showed like and also I'll show the idea to TVG, and like he'll just be like too plain, too white. I'm just like,
Then you design it, you son of a bitch.
I had this one idea that was going to take me forever for every team card, and it was going to work, and it was simple, and I was like, just pick one, and I was like, don't worry. It took me a while to build this, but I didn't fully build it. And if you don't like it, I'm completely fine with deleting it. He just instantly goes delete it. I'm just like, I'm just glad we got this far right now. But I have the team cards now to where they're exactly where they're going to be, and now I just have to figure out the whole layout for the teams. It's going to be pretty sweet. I can't wait to post about it. There's going to be a little Olen section. There's going to be a little ruck up section, and then there's going to be a VR jungle section, and then every team we have. So,
Sick.
but
Oh, also, uh, talking about esports, complexity. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're kind of like the Dallas Cowboys of VR because they got the star logo. They're located next to Dallas, like the Cowboy Stadium and the Cowboys Training Center.
uh huh.
And yeah, they got a huge, massive facility, about 45 minutes from where we're at. So I'm gonna be popping in there one day because it's open to the public. And be like, here's this, here's my headset, here's this gun stock. Uh, you're officially converted to VR, so let's do some work together. Who knows? We're gonna see. I'm just gonna go for it and just see what happens.
And they're a VR organization,
Complexity.
like an
Yeah.
esports team.
A whole massive organization. Like Tim the Tap Man is like on their team. They're a part of their organization.
Oh, but
Like
they're
that's
coming into VR.
no, not yet.
Okay, so they're not in VR. Okay,
No,
I thought you said they are in VR.
no. I might have maybe, but no, they're not in VR. And my ongoing goal is to start trying to bring these huge organizations into VR in general,
Hmm.
which is just going to also help skyrocket VR,
Yeah,
especially esports.
if people don't start making these people like want to even think about it, then it's not going to happen. I think like
Yeah.
the biggest news for not even esports, but pancake streaming, which is content, which content makes things bigger. I think the biggest news out right now is like, oh crap, Guess what?
Modern Warfare 2.
No, I mean they did do some really good job. I saw that they did beautiful stuff with some of the
It
updates they
looks
did.
dope, by the
So
way. Oh, I can't wait.
guess what the biggest news is right now that a lot of people were complaining about, and it was a huge debacle within like the past week or
Nadia.
two. No, it's
Nadia.
got to do with Ninja. Guess what? He's streaming on TikTok.
So what?
It's big news. I don't know. He's streaming on TikTok now. A lot of the TikTok streamers were threatened by
That
it.
dude just follows the money, and that's maybe
He's
it's a
streaming
smart
on
move.
YouTube now. His whole motto right now is I don't give a shit. I'm streaming on everything.
Oh, I saw that commercial, and it makes sense. Like, why is nobody doing that? I guess it might hurt because you don't have the partnership deal. But I've heard Twitch they don't give
Dude,
two shits about the creators.
Who cares about his partnership deal? He made millions of dollars on a streaming platform that couldn't even fulfill. I mean, they paid out his contract, but they went bankrupt before his contract was even up.
Yeah, that I don't know what the hell happened. Mixer, you're talking about. I have no idea how they flopped so quickly.
They flopped
I
before. There was
guess
a second flop.
they flop again. I
Yeah.
think they just that's proof that you can't just pump money into something and just it'll work. No, you need a lot more than that.
No, they
And
thought
that's
Ninja
like,
was going to come in and save the day.
dude, you got 12-year-olds like watching Ninja. They don't give a two shits about like any of that. They're not that loyal, dude. Ninja's not that unique. He's just good. But everybody, like, more and more good players come. There's nothing unique from what I've seen about Ninja.
Dude.
He just gets really intense, and so does XQC. So does Dr. Disrespect and the Tat Man.
I'm just waiting for someone to be just big in VR. There's this one guy, and we'll probably wrap it up on this and talk about the ending of this podcast because we've been going on for a solid minute. But there's this guy that has a very interesting, unique, like you would never hear this guy's voice in any other person's voice. He plays VR all the time, and he just like does random stuff in VR by himself, and I cannot remember his name, but he's got the funniest content, and not only that, but he has millions of views.
On YouTube?
Yeah, and his not on YouTube, he's everywhere, like TikTok, YouTube maybe. And his emblem is green, and it looks like a little guy. And I don't know if he's from the UK or what, but he'll play that game where the little boy, he's like playing little Timmy that sits down on the TV and will play a video game while his mom's like screaming at him.
I've never heard of that game. I'm still trying to understand who, like, I'm just trying to pinpoint something so I can search it and find him.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out what other games he would have played. Like he's like one of these people that also has like
Kid VR Mom Yelling.
I think he's also even played the SpongeBob VR mod as well. Like he'll play some weird VR mods, and the guy is freaking hilarious. Like I could watch his stuff all the time, and I just cannot remember.
Miles himself. He's got a green icon.
Let me see. Miles himself?
Yeah. It's his head, but with the index headset on. Little green guy, C-top. I don't know. We're probably going to be looking forever.
Hold on. No, I think you're on it. Miles himself?
MYLES.
M-Y.
He only got 1,000 views on this. He's only got, yeah.
Oh man, it's gonna bug me. I haven't seen his content. I saw his stuff on TikTok all the time, and I think I've seen him on YouTube. But if you would, I guarantee, if you watch VR content, you at some point have watched his video.
Does he have on TikTok? Does his content look like the game, and then at the very top is a little horizontal box with him in it, and there's like an overlay on the outside with like wings or something on it?
No.
That's not who I'm thinking of. Then. So I have no idea. I probably haven't even seen it before, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's gonna bug me so much because they were like, there was that guy that's I believe still makes content, and then there was these three guys that were doing like drunken bar fight. They would do like this thing, like I think they did it in either Pavlov or Contractors, where they were like being the tour guide, and they kept on killing the tour guide.
Oh, VR. Yeah, they do skits. They do a lot of skits.
Yeah, they're also. Dude, we need more people like that.
Where they're in the restaurant, they're doing the drive-through, and the the little disco man or the banana guy.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you got seating for bananas?"
Yeah. Yes.
That is, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, easily the funniest shit I've seen on anything with VR
Oh, I just
by
typed
far.
in VR
Even my
content creators.
brothers.
I'm searchable underneath VR content creators. Look at that.
Well, maybe I'll see what pops up for me. Maybe TikTok's different.
No, no,
Let's
I'm talking
find
about just
out.
Google. I was Googleable on VR
Oh,
content creators. VR Jungle just popped up. Look at that. Move on up.
contents. Well, no, it's probably because it's like your profile built in there.
This is a new phone. I just got this phone the other day.
Are you logged in on that phone?
Huh?
Are you logged in on that phone? Go
No, I'm
into
not logged in.
incognito.
I'm not
Go,
logged in. I'm not
go
logged
into
in.
incognito, bro. Go into incognito. Trust me.
Dude, I'm not
'Cause I didn't
logged
see it.
in. I'm not even.
I'm trying to rain on your parade,
It
and I'm
doesn't
gonna
even
be
know my
successful.
profile.
Yeah, that's cool though. Yeah, I wish I could name them too, but yeah, they're fucking hilarious. The Pavlov in Nuketown,
Oh, I'm so
the
upset.
restaurant. What?
It's not
Oh,
me. It's not me who was
I know.
searchable. Guess who it was? Rucked Up
Who?
reposted a 10-second clip and he's searchable.
Oh, no shit.
Good for him.
Is it on his link tree or his TikTok?
No, it's just I just typed in VR content creators and it says Ruck Up VR Gaming
He
talking
doesn't.
about VR content creators.
Does he have a website?
He has a YouTube website, yeah. He has everything, dude. He's everywhere.
Oh, I thought he had a. I could only find his link tree when I was looking around.
If you go to his link tree, he has YouTube, TikTok, he has Instagram, Twitter. He has everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ah, shit.
Dude, it's gonna
Well,
bug me.
shit.
But
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap
yeah,
it up,
we
dude.
are. Let's wrap this up. We're just sitting here looking for this person. I'll once I find him, I'm gonna instantly send it to him. But other than that,
I know who you're talking about, though. I've seen a lot of it from all my brothers. They stumble on those videos and they've all subscribed because they're fucking comedy. They're
yeah.
so good.
So I definitely yeah, like in the like in the thing. I knew that we were just gonna get on here and kind of just talk randomness around things, but we had some good conversation. Definitely about the definitely the controllers that are going to be coming with the new headsets, how they are going to be very different. And so if you are
Until we have
interested,
no controllers, I feel like there's going to be like,
yeah, until it's
yeah,
all
I'm going to
hands.
keep talking. Yeah, exactly.
And so like that game that even just came out where you just play with your hands, it's still iffy, but I definitely think that Be Haptic, they just made gloves. It's only for finger sensitivity, but that is one step up from having gloves, almost like in the movie how they had freaking haptic gloves. So, and then just the
Yeah.
future of VR and especially esports. If people, we'll have another episode before the Miami tournament. So, what is
And
right?
who is the guest?
Who's the guest? I don't know yet. I got to find one. I've had like three lined up, and one was like, "Yo, we're on other VR podcast, and so you're just gonna have to hold off." I'm just like,
Damn.
yeah. I was just like,
Step aside,
I
bro.
was just like, so you know what I did? I rebutted, and I go, I'm kind of scheduled out for the next 3 months anyways, so it wasn't gonna
Oh
work
my
anyways.
god, that is so bad. Yo, you did it.
No, I kind of did, but no, we'll talk about it later. But anyway, it wasn't that bad. But anyways, we'll be talking about it. If anything, maybe we'll talk if Ruck Ups, since he was busy doing real life stuff, maybe he'll come on next week. But I just have to go through my messages and make sure I didn't promise anybody next week.
Cool. Sounds good.
But
to me.
after the Miami tournament, VRIL will be planning on coming on after they're not
IVRL?
IVR. Holy cow! I hate all these freaking things that I have.
So you got them on for what, like the first weekend of the second weekend of October?
I think they said more like November.
Oh,
Once everything calms down.
yeah, that makes sense.
They
I
said
was
they're
about to
too
say
short.
after all that hype, that'd be good timing to just get right back out there, get back on the horse.
I tried to. But other than that,
Happens.
we'll figure out who I muster up for next week. It'll be the same time as always. We might even do one on a Sunday, which I still need to tell you about, which is I'm trying to get Ultimec on. The person who is their community leader is not in the United States, so we'll do his stuff on Sunday,
Cool.
which is Defer. I had him on for Blast On, so we'll see what we do there. Other than that, you have anything you want to take this away with?
Keep an eye out for a new stock coming out really, really soon for all you contractors and Vale and fast-paced shooter players out there. It might be good for Pop One, honestly. I'm not much of a player of that game, so I didn't really do much testing on it. But this stock is gonna be everything you need with a little bit of frill on it, but it's so good, and I'm so excited. And yeah, I've been working hard on it. So yeah.
You told me we weren't allowed to talk about it. All right, we're ending on that.
I ain't gonna go into detail. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next Monday. Maybe Sunday. We'll see. But definitely Monday. See y'all.
Peace.